Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a special Ultra Confusion interview with Craig Campbell, the mastermind behind Merzen Acquisitions, which is going on Kickstarter this Tuesday. So, Craig, you are finally in the last 72 hours of sanity?
I am in pre-panic mode.
And have you gotten everything that you wanted to get done, or how close are you?
I'm taking a break today. As soon as we get done talking, I'm going right back to it. I came home from work yesterday, Friday, spent about 5 hours working on stuff, got up. I actually watched like 2 hours of TV, went and did a podcast, came back, started working, talked to you, more work. Tomorrow, I have all day off. Probably nothing but, well, I should only need about half the day tomorrow to get through what I need to get through. And then Monday evening is just double checking everything, and then Tuesday morning we're off and running, and then I'm busy all day.
Yeah, it's got to be interesting to hit that go live button.
That's the easiest part of my day on Tuesday.
Dink. Okay.
Pressing the button. The hard part is then closing the Kickstarter window and not looking at it for a few hours while I get all of my marketing stuff out. I'm posting to forums and Twitter and Facebook and my homepage and blah blah blah, and I'm sending emails to 1 billion people. Every person who has ever play tested or demoed the game is going to get an email. I've got press releases to send to to gaming websites. And I don't know that I'll get it all done by 5 o'clock on Tuesday, because then I'm going to a launch party. So I might be doing the rest of it on Wednesday.
Well, there you go. At least have fun. Rest and relax at the launch party, and definitely do not have Kickstarter up on your phone.
Well, at the launch party, at the very least, I have to bring the laptop along, because if something happens that is worth an update, I will have to send an update right then and there from the party.
I got you.
If we hit 50%, or if we get incredibly lucky and we're to actually fund that evening, there needs to be a backer update that goes out immediately.
That's fair. So Merzen Acquisitions has been basically your baby for how long?
2.5 years, give or take. It was August of 2013 is when I started working on it.
And how long have you been testing it with the public?
I started playtesting it in November with friends. I started playtesting it with people I didn't know in like March of 2014. Right? So a little over just a touch over 2 years ago, the first non-friends of mine played it at like small local conventions. And then I started taking it to whatever conventions I could. And then I found people online who wanted to run demos and play tests for their friends, and it was friends of friends, and even some people that just, I got people pulled in from, I put up a post on EN World and got people. I had a guy from Afghanistan run it for, I think he was in the military, I'm not sure. But he ran up a game for some people over there. So it was actually an international play test briefly.
There you go. So with all the I guess the internet play test, how much feedback were you able to obtain through those?
Some people are more verbose than others. I got a lot. If you were to tally up all the feedback, just like page count, single space text feedback, 25 pages across the run of the Kickstarter. Now, keep in mind, a lot of things there were repetitive things. There were things that everybody said the same thing. There were things that were just little tweaky kind of things that barely required any significant work. It was just go. People would point at grammatical errors occasionally. It's like,
awesome.
That's fine. I went through and I picked it up, and it was play tested and critiqued from just regular gamer people, including people who have never played RPGs before, all the way up to I received a full round of critiquing from Rob Schwalb, who just put out his own game. He's been, if you know who Rob is, he's
I believe so.
Sort of a convention friend of mine. I know him from gaming. He's been doing RPG freelance design for 20 years. He's worked for D&D. He just launched Shadow of the Demon Lord a year or so ago from his own imprint. He's completely 100% his own company now. He still freelances, but he's got his own deal. And he gave me like 4 pages of like, here's what you need to fix to make it mostly like for the rule section to like make sure everything flowed in the right order, that there was, because for me, I've never written a true rule book before, and my brain fills in the gaps. And like if I'm reading stuff, I might get, you get to the second page and you're being given information that you need to know what's on the fifth page.
Right.
But I already know what's on the fifth page.
I got you.
So I fill in that gap. So we had to reorder, like the whole, just how the information was presented was reordered quite a bit between him and then Chris Sims, who did the editing on all the more technical stuff, all the rule stuff.
Gotcha.
Chris Sims is a professional designer, developer, editor. He's worked for Wizards of the Coast and done a ton of freelancing stuff as well.
Well, sounds like you have a lot of friends in high places that are making sure that Merzen Acquisitions is going to succeed.
Well, they're doing all these wonderful favors for me, although Chris is getting paid. But a lot of people are doing favors and helping out with stuff. And so I know what's going to happen is I'm going to get this thing out the door, hopefully if all goes well in November of this year. And then people are going to start saying, hey, Craig, remember how you critiqued this game? How about you take my thing here and go run a playtest for 4 weekends and, help me back out. And
of course.
Give me the friends and family right to do a little design writing because Chris is helping me out he's given me a very reasonable editing rate, so it's all going to come around.
Hey, Craig, I got this RPG that I've been making for 15 years, man. It's gone through 20 iterations. I'm sure it's going to be a success.
It's my little fantasy heartbreaker.
Well, technically, I do have an RPG that has spanned, I guess, 17 years now, but I don't want anyone to see it. I really don't want anyone to see it.
You have perhaps grown too close to it.
I would say, yeah.
That if somebody started to critique it, it would probably tear your soul out.
Yes, especially since I've been tearing my own soul out so many times of basically doing overhauls that I think that at this point, if I were to actually try to put something together and people were to tear that apart, I would probably cry.
Well, for me, if this just falls apart and doesn't go anywhere, then it's only 2.5 years and I can just move on to the next thing.
So the next thing for you that you first showed off at AndoCon was capers. So have you kind of side table capers while you're?
I have done absolutely nothing with capers since AndoCon.
Okay.
Other than log the commentary from people. I made a little document and I put all the you guys' comments in there and my own observations, and then there it has sat. And I probably won't touch it again until at least till the point where we get to proofing the book. Like once the artwork is in and layout's done and we get a copy made for proofing, then things will really start to slow down on my end and I might start into capers again.
Gotcha. There's nothing wrong with that.
We'll probably be kind of on the same schedule we were last time around with capers now, is that like by like November, December, I'll be looking to play test with friends, just kind of get some of the very basic stuff hammered out. And then by AndoCon next year in March, it'll start hitting the table for strangers.
Gotcha. Well, sign me and Zelius up because we'll be there and we'll hopefully he'll actually show up to play capers this time. Because I enjoyed it, so.
Yeah, well, you got to draw some cards instead of roll some dice.
Yes, and I'm pretty
not sure
I still did terrible.
Yeah, I'm not sure how the mechanics are going to change, but I don't think that's the core of it's going to change. Like it's going to be a card game. It's not going to be a dice game.
So I want to throw a couple things up real quick that you
throw
gave.
up.
Let's see here. So. Let me make sure that I throw this up correctly. Okay, so unfortunately, right now Craig's face is hidden.
That's fine.
Okay, so the first thing is the example office floor plan. This is just I'm assuming this is kind of just an idea of what you could use as a map for for your own adventure, or perhaps a prefab adventure that includes an office space.
It's intended to be something like I was telling you earlier before we started, before we pressed the record button. I work in an office. I've worked in multiple offices. I'm an architect by day. I have designed offices. I know what goes in an office,
right?
On a typical office floor. Not necessarily everybody does. So this is just to give you the idea of like, this is a good-sized office building. The floor is big. I mean, look at the cubicle farm. It's huge. There's lots of people that could be up there. And then all the other little things. There's little work areas and individual offices, and you got stairs and elevators and an electrical room and a break room and a copy room and restrooms and everything that could be on a given floor. Just it's for reference. And I mean, if you wanted to utilize it in an adventure, you certainly could.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and that'll be coupled with a description of like, here's what a typical office building kind of has. Here's what's on the first and second floors. Here's what's on your typical floors. Here's what the roof is like. Here's what mechanical floors are like. Because there's in big buildings, in skyscrapers, there are often whole floors that are dedicated just to mechanical and electrical systems to heat and cool and power the building, which is a good place for your hiding of dead bodies.
Dead bodies. No. The interesting thing about this is, I swear to God, I've worked in a building that almost exactly looks like this.
It's very vaguely modeled on a building that I am familiar with from Milwaukee.
Gotcha.
Very vaguely, just the shape of the building, really. Mm-hmm. That sort of hexagonal, elongated hexagon.
So, okay, let's see what else we have here. We have the back cover final.
Yep, with the text. That was the big thing. Up until recently, I didn't have the actual back cover blurb.
So the text reads as follows: the Merchant Acquisitions role-playing game puts you smack dab in the middle of a cutthroat corporation in an absurd alternate version of our world where literally anything goes in terms of corporate advancement. You portray an employee seeking power, prestige, and wealth at any cost. You'll sabotage your rivals' pet projects, destroy them at social events, steal their secrets, or even kill them and cover it all up, which is why you need janitor closets.
Yep.
In the process, you'll rise up the ranks, make new enemies, and discover new goals. A series of modular add-on rules allow you to fill the game world with fantastic elements like magic, monsters, near-future technology, cosmic horror, and the apocalypse. These optional mix and match rules let you craft a more complex, unique world for everyone playing the game to enjoy. In this book, you'll find everything you need to create characters to tell fun, evocative stories of corporate subterfuge, intrigue, espionage, theft, and murder. How will you rise up the corporate ladder? Preferably not by electrocution. Or setting yourself on fire. But I did both. Okay, so we've got the two images there. Is that the same artist or is that two different artists?
Two different artists. But I had them. Yep, two different artists. Let's see if I can look at the thing right here. The top image is by Beth Farney, who also did the cover. Mm-hmm. And the bottom image is by Becca Gowdy, who also did the illustration of the tech dragon fight. Mm-hmm. Of the three characters on the roof fighting the tech dragon. Nice. Same artist.
Both amazing art.
And they both, I gave them direction. I gave them the copy of the front and back cover so they knew what the color scheme was going to look like. They knew they had the front cover illustration already to work with, so I asked them to just make sure that they kind of stayed within that general range of tone so that you didn't all of a sudden have an illustration that had some bright reds or huge blocks of dark orange or something that would clash.
Right.
So it worked out nicely. They got, two very different illustrations, but I think they fit together nicely on the page. Neither one of them draws the eye more than the other.
They all look awesome. So let's see here. Your Kickstarter is running from May 10th, which is this coming Tuesday, to June 7th. Which is
4 weeks later.
4 weeks later, and one day before my birthday.
Happy birthday!
Thank you. Happy early birthday to me, which I'm probably going to be at work for.
You know what I'll be doing on your birthday?
What's that?
Well, I'll go to work during the day, and then in the evening, I'll come home and write art orders and send out contracts.
Nice. Assuming everything funds. Oh, please. Come on, Craig. It's going to fund. The Alter Confusion fan base alone should probably get you close. The amount of time we talk about it. And the AndoCon fan base.
I'm quite confident that we will fund. It's just a matter of how quickly and how far. Mm-hmm. I mean, the funding goal is incredibly reasonable. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I totally agree. I feel like... Hold on one sec here. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick here. Mm-hmm. Pull it up. Oh, come on, Craig. I have to save all the good funny for my podcast. You get the bottom of the barrel funny.
Well, yeah, I don't have a bell to ding.
Few do.
Yeah. Yes, I've listened to quite a few viewer podcasts and giggled and kind of shook my head at some of the comments being made.
Yeah, be careful with the last few. Mike got on a penis news
You're
stint
talking
where he
about the.
was talking about all sorts of penis news in the world of penises.
Mm-hmm. All right, so
I'm trying to get him to knock that off.
let's see, one, two, three, four. You got four different pledge levels for merchant acquisitions.
Yep.
You have the dollar one that basically just holds your place. $15, which gets you a PDF copy of the game, including everything unlocked, and your name listed in the Kickstarter backers page. You have a $20 full benefits. You get everything that the previous one did. In addition, you receive access to order a one print on demand copy of Merchant Acquisitions through drive-through RPG priced at production cost. So exactly what does that mean?
That means that you're going to buy a book from them and have them ship it to you for what it costs to print and ship the book with no profit.
Gotcha.
A softcover book at the size of the book that this is going to be will print for about $5.
Okay.
They can ship it in the continental U.S. for about $5.
Mm-hmm.
So grand total, you're looking at about $30 for a softcover book, PDF, all the support materials and everything. The hardcover upgrade costs about $5.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just paying for those two pieces of cardboard or chipboard or whatever's in there. So, you know, you're looking at $35 for a hardcover. Now, admittedly, you have to back on the Kickstarter and then go purchase through DriveThruRPG later, but you can create an account there. It doesn't cost anything. It's very quick. I mean, you can go in, create your account, enter your code, get your book ordered, and never look at DriveThruRPG again if you don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
It's no more difficult than ordering anything from any online ordering website.
Gotcha. And then let's see here, the top
and
one.
And international.
Mm-hmm.
They have a printer in the UK. So shipping to the UK and Europe is much more reasonable. If you were living in Brazil or Australia, you will be paying dollars for shipping.
Gotcha.
It can get significant. Shipping to Brazil is something like $35 or.
The craziness.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Australia and Brazil are like two of the top.
Mm-hmm.
At least for them, for their process.
Right. Finally, you have a limited edition pledge at $65, which is the corner office. You get everything from the previous level. In addition, a likeness of you will be featured in the illustration in the interior of the book.
Yep. Means you have to send me a photo that I can give to the artist.
And I'm sure that there's probably guidelines as to what type of photo can be sent in.
Well, I mean, I do mention in the whole, there's a rundown of how you deal with the illustration thing, and it does say, I do make a point of, you know, I may ask for a particular pose or angle for the photo. I won't be asking for anything weird or lewd. It'll be, you know, and you know, when it comes right down to it, it's whether or not you feel comfortable doing that. If you don't want to, if you're a person who doesn't want to send a photo to somebody you don't know, then you don't get to back at this level for the book. You just don't.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense to me.
But you can still back at the $20 level.
Right.
And get a book.
Right. I mean, yeah.
And for that matter, you could back at the $20 level and still back $65. You can always over pledge beyond the threshold of what the reward level is.
Right. Absolutely.
Because there are stories out there of people that'll, you know, like the $1 level, like somebody sees something, they think, hey, that's a really neat idea. I'd love to contribute to this because I think it's a cool idea. However, I have no use for the thing they're producing. I just think it's neat. So they back at the $1 level and give the person $20.
I should probably have done that a couple times because there's a couple things that I backed that I got. I'm like, wow, great. I'm never going to use this.
You know, and you get the enjoyment of like, oh, I helped someone realize a dream.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to be part of that community for a while. Mm-hmm. I get to, you know, get these updates and see how it's going. You get to be part of that, which, you know, there are people. That's why I think crowdfunding is as popular as it is, because it's not just, well, I'm pre-ordering something. I'm going to become part of this community that is seeing this thing happen, and we're going to have varying levels of involvement in helping it actually happen, from just pledging dollars to making it a reality, to actually contributing to the content, to voting on things that might go into the product, whatever it might be. Like, one of the things I'm looking at doing right now, I just posted it to my Facebook page, is halfway through the Kickstarter, when everything's when Kickstarters tend to slow, they do like a U shape. Kickstarters typically are very big at the beginning, then they go really slow for a long time, and then they get big at the end again. So during that middle part, I'm going to be putting out a call to all the backers that they can design an NPC. I will give them the full character creation and NPC creation rules, a Word document with the NPC stat block in it, examples of existing stat blocks, and everybody can design an NPC. And every NPC that gets designed will get put into a document in one of the PDF support materials. So not only will the book come with a whole bunch of NPCs in it, here's going to be this packet of additional characters that you can use in the game, designed by the people who backed the game.
I like that.
And the same thing goes for creating full pre-generated characters to play. I'll do one of those as well. Cool. So there might be a packet of, I don't know how many people would do this. Maybe 10 or 15 people say, hey, I'll take the time to read the first chapter of the book, because you're going to get a sneak peek of the book too when you do this. You'll get the character creation rules and a few other things.
Interesting.
And once you know how to do it, creating a character or an NPC, it's it doesn't take terribly long. Once you read, it will take you longer to read through everything than it will take you to actually punch numbers onto a sheet.
Which is usually or hopefully the case with any pencil and paper. Is the hardest part is to actually
absorb the game. Yeah.
So you start your launches May 10th. You're going to be showing up on the Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout on the 19th.
Correct.
You're going to be showing off Mergers and Acquisitions at MomoCon.
Yep.
Do you have a table there?
I'll be at one of the demo tables right at the front of the MomoCon gaming area, like I was last year.
Okay.
And they will basically, it'll be 1 hour demos. Just pull up a chair and play, and I'll just rotate as many people in and out of the table as I possibly can. The MomoCon people last year, the RPG people, were great at helping me fill tables. Where because with a 1 hour demo, it's easy to have somebody just like literally their staff people. I was sitting at the table waiting for people to show up. The staff people would go out and just find people wandering past the area and say, hey, you want to play a game for an hour? And they'd say, okay. And they'd come and sit down and play the game. And I never waited more than about 20 minutes to fill my table. Well, like I'd finish a table and the guys would go looking, and in 20 minutes later, I'd have another table to run. So I'll go there for 8 hours and I'll run 6 tables.
Nice. I will be there as well with my table. And I don't have anything really running besides a bunch of indie games, but whatever. So, Craig, I do want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule as you're preparing for the Kickstarter launch.
Pre-panic mode.
Pre-panic mode. We at Ultra Confusion can't wait to get you on the show on May 19th to talk some Mergers and Acquisitions and some other random nerdy stuff. Sure. But I will let you go now for however long you want to take a break before you go back into panic mode. But once again, thank you for taking time to let us chit-chat a little bit about Mergers and Acquisitions and the exciting start of your Kickstarter May 10th.
Cool, thank you. And hit up nerdburgergames.com, in particular the schedule page where I list out the billion places that I'm going to be going. I'm doing like 8 podcasts and or videocasts in 9 days.
That's a hell of a run. Yeah,
I'm basically going to record a podcast nearly every evening for like over a week.
Well, there you go. That's good promotion. Promotion.
Not my podcast. I mean, this includes you guys plus, RPG Academy, Skirmish Supremacy, All Games Considered, Wrecking Crew, The Tome Show, and more. Hopefully in the works. Wow. I am a marketing whore.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yep.
All right. So thank you, Craig, and we will see you on the show soon.
Bye.
Bye.